Oriole fans, thank you for joining us this week. Welcome to the Ravery Sports Podcast, coming to you a little bit later because there was a lot that happened today. So we wanted to go over everything with you as well. Today we had NFL schedule release just tonight at 8 o'clock. So definitely we got, we had that going on. Orioles today, Adley outstanding with the walk-off. Fantastic stuff. I mean, this guy's tremendous. We're going to talk about Orioles, of course, as we always do. So definitely, if you haven't hit it already, this content is valuable to you. You're getting value out of this. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content. Go ahead, hit the share button down there. Share with all your friends. If you like Baltimore sports, definitely check us out. We go over the Orioles and the Ravens mostly, but we also get into Maryland Terrapins, other things, talk a little NBA here and there. We do other stuff this year. Preakness is coming up as well, so we know about that as well. So, a little business, Genesis Notary Services /Facebook.com. Definitely check us out. If you live in the Shenandoah Valley area, it is an excellent value for you. We will stamp your documents with care. Definitely, you can send us information there. You can book it right on there. If you put in Genesis Notary Services on Google, you can definitely get the information there. Genesis Notary Services on Google as well, or on Facebook, GNS Winchester at gmail.com. So definitely check that out as well. Genesis Notary Services, stamp your documents with care. Right. Our Legal Shield, my Legal Shield business, definitely you can check that out as well. Business owners, especially talking to you out there right now. If you need value out of your legal fees, this is the way to go ahead and do it right now. We're living in times where everything is so expensive. My goodness. And lawyers have always been expensive. If you want to take that down, you want to collect money that people owe you, if you want to go ahead and speak to a lawyer whenever you want that same day without worrying about how much money you have, definitely you can get legal. The value of the Legal Shield is so important. Definitely for you out there, and definitely for you if you're getting a will done. So definitely you. Definitely if you are like me, I've been married a long time, and you definitely worry about things about how what's going to happen to your kids and et cetera, and all that stuff. You can get a will done as part of Legal Shield right away to let somebody take care of that. Trust me, I've seen it so many times go a different way if you don't take care of it. So definitely take care of it with. Definitely check it out. See Charles Harris. We are LegalShield.com. All right, ravorisports.company.site did some revamping on the website as well. More Lamar jerseys on there. More Orioles hats like this one. This is the old school. We got the more modern ones now, like the cartoon bird that they're actually wearing in the games. Still have our Calrican t-shirt on there. We still have other things. And if you don't see anything on there, definitely check us out. ravorisports at gmail.com. If there's nothing on there that you have, you can definitely get it there as well. All right. Tonight was awesome. So we had a little bit of business tonight. The schedule is out. The Ravens 2024 schedule has been released tonight at 8 o'clock. So definitely we got a little bit of news yesterday. We put this out. The Ravens are going to get the first game of the year. So they're going to be the way it's been for the last, I think, I don't know how many years it's been, but it's something like 15, 16 years. New England, I think, was the first team where whoever wins the Super Bowl gets the first home game at home when they win a championship. So they got it last year. They won back-to-back. They got it again this year. They're getting the first home game at home as well. So the Ravens are now going to go ahead and get the first game against the Kansas City Chiefs. That is the game that's going to start the NFL season on Thursday Night Football. How about it? I'm a little surprised by the reaction I've been seeing so far when this was leaked yesterday from a lot of the fans. Not liking this. I love it. I love it. That's not hyperbole. I want send a message right away. Look, we would have had this game circle on the schedule no matter when it was, week 10, week 11, week whatever. You would have that Chiefs game circled there as well. I want to get it out the way right away. Let them hang the banner all they want, and let them do all that stuff. Let them do all that, and let's go ahead and win the game, the first game. Send a message right away. Send a message to the entire AFC right away by beating Kansas City. I love it. I love it. I don't understand this narrative. Well, it doesn't matter. No, you got to win this game. Look, send a message to them. Let them think about that all year long. How they got beat opening night. So again, I understand it's not a playoff game. I do kind of understand that it's not the same exactly, but definitely send that message right away. So yeah, I love the fact that we're getting the first game opening night. Why not have a Ravens game on the first Sunday, on the first Thursday night game? And so yeah, I love this. So I'm not mad at all that we're getting Kansas City in the first game. Week 2, Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, I think, are. I say it all the time with them. We don't know what they're getting. I would think about my dad whenever I see the Raiders. This was his favorite team. He loved John Madden, Al Davis, Jim Plunkett, the old version of the Raiders in the 60s and in the 70s and all that. I don't know what we're getting with the Raiders. I would say this: Gardner Minshew is not as bad as what people think he is. I think that wasn't a bad move. I think of probably it's still not as good as Derek Carr was, but I definitely think for a year, see if Aiden O'Connell has anything, see if O'Connell can play. I think that's in play there, not making too much money. Be interesting. But the Raiders, you don't know what you're going to get. Antonio Pierce now is the full-time head coach for them, so it'll be interesting to see how they do for the Ravens' first home game, 1 o'clock on CBS there. A lot of people looking forward to this one. Obviously, this is going to be a lot of national hype here with the Dallas Cowboys. Everything the Cowboys do is national hype. I'm not sure. I don't think the Cowboys have ever beaten the Ravens. As far as I know, I don't think that's correct. So I think the Ravens have beaten the Cowboys, I think, every time they play. I don't think they've ever beat the Ravens when they play. So I think the Ravens have been successful every time they played. Going down to Jerry's World, AT&T Bank Stadium. Cowboys, I think, are interesting. I don't know if they've taken a step back or not. I don't know how far you get with Prescott. I don't know. I don't know if you can get everywhere you need to get with him. He just doesn't play well in the playoffs. Plays well enough in a regular season, kind of like a version of a Kirk Cousins, maybe a better version, but doesn't play well in the playoffs as well. Ravens, I think, match up very well with Dallas. I think that's why they beat them so many times. I think they'll be more physical. I like their chances in that game as well. Another Sunday night game against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo, we don't know what we got this year. I don't know where to place Buffalo exactly. I'm going to study more on the roster and see, but I don't know. They've lost a lot this offseason. I'm not sure where you place them going forward. They have Josh Allen, so that gives you 8-9 wins right there. If they can keep Josh Allen healthy, interesting to see though with Allen. The success he had, and I'm pointing this out this here in the offseason, the success he had was with Stephon Diggs. Kind of wasn't the same before he got there. So this is his first season now without Stephon Diggs. They did Keon Coleman in the draft. They did do that. They lost to 2 outstanding safeties, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde. Von Miller's clearly on the downside. They've lost a bunch of stuff here. So we'll see how the Bills do. Getting a home game early in the season, a Sunday night game, like the Ravens, chances there. Cincinnati, no introduction needed. I think Cincinnati was super impressive with Browning as the quarterback last year. They're going to get Joe Burrow back. This is kind of a tell season for Joe Burrow here. Joe Burrow is going to have to play healthy. Had a few injuries. This is his second time. He's kind of missed a lot of the season here as well. Didn't really play in the preseason. Played a little bit in the mini camps, and he's looked good. So that's a good sign for them. Going into Cincinnati, Ravens have had much better success in recent years in Cincinnati. Not in the playoff game a couple years ago, but they've had some success against Cincinnati as well. Cincinnati made a couple moves in the offseason. Interesting to see how we do against Cincinnati. Kind of hoping this one wouldn't be the other way. It'd be a little closer to me. Ravens and Commanders. Easy to get tickets to, like to this game if they're playing. But they're playing at M&T Bank Stadium. We know Ravens gonna win this game, right? I mean, Commanders with a rookie quarterback should be coming along by then. I think that'll be interesting to see Jayden Daniels how he does at this point in the season. With like we're at week 6 right there. Yeah, see how he comes around here. See how he progresses. I don't think there's much there in Washington. Austin Eckler is there. They got him in the offseason. They have a new coach, Dan Quinn. They got Bobby Wagner to help them on defense. This is not a playoff team. Ravens are a playoff team. One of the sneaky good teams from last season, a surprise here, the Tampa Bay Bucks. Bucks actually won the AFC South. Now, they were, I think, in the worst division, but I think they did well last year. And also, too, they were spending a lot of money retaining a lot of their players. The other day, Antoine Whitfield, they re-signed him. They've re-signed Mike Evans, re-signed Baker Mayfield to an extension. So a team where maybe we were thinking they were going to go the rebuild route, they have a legitimate shot here to actually win 3 straight seasons, rather, the AFC South again. So good job by them to actually get in there. I don't think they're in the Ravens class quite yet, but we will see how they do in this game. Cleveland Browns again. It's Cleveland Browns first time. I'm sorry. Browns. How good is Deshaun Watson still? That's the thing. This team can get to the Super Bowl with the talent that they have if they have a decent quarterback, and we don't know. I'm not as low on Watson as a lot of people are. I think he was actually starting to come around. Inactivity costs an athlete sometimes. If you don't play at all, it can be a problem. And he hasn't played much. So I think the fact that he hasn't played much, he seemed to be kind of getting it together before the injury. Now he's got to fight through another injury. So can they get a Deshaun Watson back to where they are? Everything else is there. Nick Chubb was out. They were still able to run the ball. They have a good run game. The defense was very, very good. I thought that was one of the best defenses in the NFL last year, if not the best, the Cleveland Browns. So they were terrific on defense. I think they're legitimate contenders if you can get Deshaun Watson in there. Ravens have a tough game on the road, Cleveland. Denver. How the mighty have fallen here. Denver's a bit of a mess. I think them getting Bo Nix. Ravens should win this game, by the way. They're getting Bo Nix actually may prevent it getting worse than what it is. I heard somebody say that Bo Nix didn't think Bo Nix was anything but a bridge. So what if it is? They were the other quarterback options are Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson. Yeah, Bo Nix is going to play. He's the only shot they got. They have some players. But they're in cap jail because of the Russell Wilson thing. They couldn't do anything. They had to let Justin Simmons go. They got Surtain on defense. They got no receivers besides Cortland Sutton. Can't imagine they're probably pulling up the rear in the division. I can't imagine Ravens lose this game. They've got a Thursday night game again against the Cincinnati Bengals. I've seen this a couple times where they're getting this at M&T Bank here. I think the Bengals on the road aren't nearly as good. I've seen that a couple years. They seem to be much better at home. They kind of – I think it's a good advantage that they're getting as well. They're Interesting to see how this goes. How good the Bengals actually are. Can the Bengals actually get back to what they were before the Joe Burrow injury? Interesting to see. All right, the Steelers, the Squealers. I've been thinking about this all day. I know everybody's focusing on Kansas City and all that, etc. But I want to thank our former inside linebacker, PQ, Patrick Queen. Thank you. The Ravens Steelers rivalry was a great rivalry, but it's kind of needed a little something, right? It kind of needed a little extra, just put something on. This is it. There you go. PQ talking trash. Ravens going to play Pittsburgh. This is exactly what the rivalry needed. I can't wait to beat the Squealers here. The Squealers did beat us twice last year. Now, in no way were they the superior team. I'm not saying that because they were Pittsburgh. One game you were wrestling players. One game the Ravens have probably played the worst game of the year. They had tons of turnovers. So they are definitely motivated. They lost to them twice despite the good season. And PQ is there. We needed this. We needed this, but the Squealers are it's getting a little bit too nice, too congenial. No, this is what we need here. So absolutely. A lot of national interest in this next one. I keep wanting to say San Diego Chargers, the LA Chargers. So, rumored that this was going to be on Thanksgiving night. This is going to be on a Monday night. The two brothers, the Harbaughs, going head to head. Interesting dynamic for them now, the brothers. The last time Jim Harbaugh was a coach in the league, he was in the NFC. They didn't meet in the Super Bowl. So they're not going to meet in the Super Bowl now. They're going to be fighting for the AFC. The Chargers, I think, are going to be this is a huge coaching upgrade that they're getting. So the Chargers are going to do much, much, much better. The biggest thing that they lacked in recent years, especially on offense, was an identity. They have one now. We know what they're going to do. They got J.K. Dobbins. They got Gus Edwards. They got Ben Mason. They're going to run the football. They got a lot of ex-Ravens there. This is Ravens West. Excellent Monday night game. I'm looking forward to it as well. Here's a guy the Ravens were looking at in the offseason. Well, at least I was. Like at running back, Saquon Barkley, and you're going against the Philadelphia Eagles. So interesting to see the Eagles now in the post Jason Kelsey era. A lot of extensions for the Eagles. Everybody keeps telling me the Ravens can't afford receivers. They signed Saquon Barkley to a deal. They extended A.J. Brown. They extended Devontae Smith. So they've been spending a lot of money. They're well invested. They gave their quarterback big contract a few years ago. Can they get back on defense? It's an interesting part with the Eagles. So it'll be interesting to see. It could be on defense, kind of get back to where they need to get. That'll be interesting to see if they can do that. Couple more here. Giants. Giants are actually looking at it, they're a little better than I thought they were. Like in terms of that, they went ahead, they signed Elite Neighbors in the draft. They did lose Saquon Barkley. They didn't have Daniel Jones, for better or worse, a lot of last year. I do think that hurt them as well. So I think they're going to have him. Brian Burns is a big signing in the offseason for them. So it'll be interesting to see if that goes ahead and helps them. Then we get to Squealers in M&T Bank Stadium as well. So again, this is Patrick Queen coming to M&T Bank as a Squealer. I love it. I absolutely love the fact that this is exactly what this needs. Exactly the shot in the arm that we needed for this rivalry to beat the Squealers. Absolutely fantastic. Houston Texans. I think the Texans are one of the elite teams now in the entire NFL. Interesting to see how this goes. C.J. Stroud was terrific. Nico Collins was terrific. I think D'Amico Ryans as a young coach is great. I definitely love him as a coach in the league. So D'Amico Ryans, I think, is fantastic as well. So interesting to see. This is going to be Christmas night on Netflix. How about that? So they kind of stuck that in. So Netflix now, WWE, they went ahead and signed that. They're doing the Tyson fight, and they're now doing the NFL on Christmas. So definitely log into Netflix, and so you can watch the Ravens on Christmas night. One last game to be determined. We don't know the date. It'll be that final weekend. It's going to be the Sunday, January 5th against the Cleveland Browns as well. So definitely we're going to go ahead and check that out there. It'll be the Cleveland Browns, the last day. That time you don't know. They may flex it if it's for the division title. It might be the Sunday night game. It might be on Saturday, whatever. The last week they kind of keep wide open now. Not even the days are even locked in. So keep that whole weekend open as well. Tough division. Overall, the schedule. I'm not one way or the other here. I think it is a little tougher than last year. The whole narrative of the strength of schedule, I pay that no mind. That doesn't bother me at all. The strength of schedule. All that tells you is basically the records what they were last year. It's a whole new year. I think a first place schedule factors in a little bit, in my opinion, because you are by and large playing good teams. Like when you play the first place schedule. But winning percentages and all, I don't pay that no mind. They are playing a first place schedule. They did finish the best record in the AFC last year. So they are going to be playing good teams a lot. But that'll be interesting to see. So now we know it's here. The schedule is out. So we're definitely going ahead and thanking the NFL for releasing that tonight. I thought it was going to be last night, but they're releasing that tonight as well. So now we know all the games, when you watch them, you can set it up here. NFL, now, real quick with the schedule, and I did post about this today on our Ravery Sports Facebook page and Twitter page and Instagram page as well. Shameless plug. They're taking over the Christmas thing. Forever, it was the NBA taking that Christmas spot there. Now, it's interesting because they've had games, obviously, but they might have had a game, like especially if it fell on a Sunday or a Saturday or Monday or whatever, yeah, you have a game. But now it doesn't matter when the game is. They're going to have Christmas Day games every year in prime time. So interesting to see that. And the Ravens are going to get it. All right. So now that we have a schedule, let's go ahead and do the Big Five. I haven't done that in a while. So what is the Big Five? Big Five. These are the 5 biggest games on the schedule all season that are not Raven games. So now I'm aware, too, that if I wasn't to, maybe the Ravens would be in here somewhere. Certainly the Ravens-Chiefs game would be one opening night. Certainly the games against Dallas, a lot of fans will look at that as one of the biggest, whatever. But these are the 5 biggest games on the schedule all season that are not Raven games. First Sunday night game, the Rams and the Lions. So how about that? This was one of the better playoff games last year, one of the most intriguing storylines. This is going to be Stafford's first regular season game, I believe, as the Rams quarterback as well. Goff actually eliminating his old team, the Rams, in the playoffs. How cool is it going to be on the first Sunday night teams? And these are 2 teams definitely in Super Bowl contention in the NFC, especially the Lions, I think might be the best team in the NFC. Excellent choice for a Sunday night game. So many years with this one, we got the Cowboys and the Giants. Like they did that, like I think 3 or 4. It had to be like 3 or 4 years in a row. So this is good. Getting the Rams and Lions, I think this is one of the biggest games all season. Speaking of the Giants, I don't know how good the Giants are going to be, but definitely Saquon Barkley going into New York is very fascinating, very intriguing. Having this game here, the Giants actually are – this is a big year for them. I'm hearing some Belichick rumors after this season. Belichick were maybe going to New York. Maybe they're interested in him if John Dayball struggles again this year. Interesting to see Saquon Barkley actually now playing in Philly, the best player. This one got a little higher too. I'm interested to see it, how it happens. Giants actually did get better on defense. I do like the Brian Burns signing. I actually do. I actually like it. I like the Malik Neighbors thing as well. And I like Brian Dayball. So I think this will be a fascinating game. I don't know how good the Giants are going to be, but definitely this one here it's going to be must-see TV. Definitely the Eagles. Eagles defensively got to get back. That's the thing. The Eagles, I think, are right there with the better teams in the NFC if they can kind of get back on defense. The Super Bowl rematch, week 7, the 49ers and the Chiefs as well. That's going to be played on the same Sunday. I think the Chiefs are pretty good again. Marquise Brown, I'm fascinated to see how he does. Good like last few years. Rashid Rice may get suspended from a lot of stuff, for a lot of the rumors that I'm hearing. So you're going to need Marquise. They did sign Xavier Worthy here as well. Do they have enough at wide receiver here to go ahead and get squared away? Right tackle is still kind of an issue for them as well. Can they do it in the regular season? Can they have a better regular season than they have? Because we know they can win in the playoffs, obviously. I mean, they've won 2 straight Super Bowls. So we definitely know they can win in the playoffs. But how far do you slide down in the regular season? This is a team, even though they've won it, they were flawed. This is a flawed team. Defensively, losing Janarius Sneed, that's a loss. That's a big deal. So interesting to see. Niners, I think, are really, really good. They're about as good team as they are. I think the clock is ticking a little bit on some of these guys. They've had a good group for a while. Trent Williams getting older. I think Kill's getting older. They went ahead and cut Armstead in the offseason. McCaffrey, kind of for a running back, kind of getting to the, they have a young quarterback, but a lot of these guys, Ayuk rumors, Debo rumors, Trait, the clock is ticking a little bit. I think they're in a situation where they're not going to just go past this game. They need to beat KC. KC's been staying in the way. Here's a young team getting better. The Texans. The Texans, I think, possibly one of the elite teams in the AFC. I was super impressed with CJ Stroud last year. I thought he was better than Bryce Young in the draft, but he's light years ahead of him. I think really, definitely, they might be the best team in the division. This might be for playoff positioning and all that. Stroud is excellent as well. 2 of the better quarterbacks, I think, in the league. Mahomes, again, can the Chiefs fight off a good team like this as well in the regular season? Can they have a better regular season than one of these teams here, the Texans? Texans, I think, week 16, very interesting matchup as well. Week 17, I think these are the 2 favorites in the NFC for the Super Bowl right now. If I have to do it right now. We haven't done the predictions video, but the Lions and the Niners, I think, the 2 teams that met in the NFC Championship last year, I definitely think they're absolutely in contention this year. Goff, they believe they should. He was terrific last year. He's definitely in contention. They gave him a big contract extension. He got him. Can he get past the Niners? This is the team, and like I said, like I talked about with the Ravens, team that loses definitely psychologically could use this one. Now, this is very late in the year. How much will this impact, etc.? But this could be for home field in the NFC. So it's very interesting to see how well this goes as well. There you go. Big 5. 5 biggest games on the NFL. 5 biggest games on the NFL schedule this season, looking at it. So definitely check out all the games in the NFL schedule. All right. Let's keep talking a little bit. The last few weeks, obviously, we'll be talking about the NBA, NBA playoffs. Nuggets have come back, storming back. As of this recording, they're up 3-2 over the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think that the Nuggets are pretty much where they should be. Um, Joker and his footwork. I think that's the one thing that makes him so good. He's playing against two skilled bigs, Carl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. Definitely, you want to double team Joker, and he's still getting 30. I mean, he's just outstanding, in control of the game. I think the parable here, why they struggled against the Timberwolves early, is kind of the difference between kind of like to use a baseball parable. So in the first couple innings of the game, right, you're facing. I saw a post this week, Tim Wakefield. You're seeing a knuckleball. You're seeing all speed, whatever. Then you get to the ninth inning, and you're going against the Red Sox, and you're going against Papelbon, and you see a bunch of heaters, right? You see the fastball, the speed. The speed in a basketball game cannot be replicated on TV. That's the one thing you kind of miss watching games on television, on streaming or whatever. The speed. And I think the Nuggets had a problem. The Lakers are not that quick of a team. The Timberwolves are. And I think that they kind of had to adjust, and they've adjusted. They're getting the ball. Joker's having a terrific series. Anthony Edwards has been really good still as well, but he's not getting the kind of help as well. So interesting to see. I think the Timberwolves still have a shot here. They're only down one game, but we'll see. I think they're absolutely fantastic there as well. Mavericks and the Thunder. Doesn't surprise me that the way this one is going. Kind of the same deal here with the parable I just made with the kind of the same parable I made with the speed as well of the Lakers compared to the speed of the Timberwolves. Definitely applies here with the Mavericks as well. They kind of start out slow here in the first game. I'm looking at it right now, the score. So we'll see who goes up in the series, but it's tied 2-2 as well. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is another level. This is the best fadeaway jumper I think I've seen in forever since Jordan did it. You cannot, that step back, he just destroys people with that. On the other side, the Mavericks, we know what they are. They're Doncic and busts. Nights where he plays well, he's interesting. His effort doesn't always seem at the highest to me. That's interesting to see how good he is. Kind of like Shaquille in that sense. Like, doesn't always every night give you everything, despite his massive production. So it'd be interesting to see. Tied 2-2. Interesting to see how that plays out. East. This is an ugly series. These games are ugly. I would tell you the one thing that's not ugly, and again, the obvious is Jalen Brunson. Pacers should be winning this series, man. But Brunson, he's gonna give them 40 points, 35 points so often. They can't do anything with him. When nights where he's going to do that, they're killing him. No Julius Randle, no Obi, no all these guys, and you're still behind in the series 3-2 because Jalen Brunson, you can't do anything with him. Unbelievable what he's able to accomplish. So I don't think they win the NBA title. I think they definitely, Knicks should win this series and get to the next round. Celtics are pretty much wrapping this up right now, I think. I'm going to ahead and check it here. Yeah, so it's over. Celtics have advanced to the next round. They went ahead and eliminated Cleveland. Cleveland, especially with the injury to Donovan Mitchell, not enough. I think Garland is kind of developed as well to help him, but the Celtics just too seasoned too. I just like to see a little bit more fire in the belly with them. They should beat the Knicks or the Pacers, no matter who it is in the next round. Again, I think they had a pretty easy path here. I don't know if either team does any better than Cleveland in the next round. So interesting to see how that goes. We'll continue to talk finals NBA as we get to the NBA finals in June. This Saturday, a lot of you Baltimoreans, I'm sure, are going to go to Pimlico, which apparently, from what I understand, is finally getting the remodel after so many years. So definitely go down. I'm sure the biggest party, one of them all year long, is in the infield at Pimlico, the Preakness Stakes as well. So definitely, we'll talk about that next week a little bit. Not a big horse racing guy, but you gotta acknowledge the Preakness. I'm so glad that actually Baltimore is keeping it and they're doing something in Pimlico to actually keep it here. I think next year it's going to be in Laurel as well. So good. Then we're going to have the Preakness as well. The May 18th as well, the biggest party in field in Baltimore, the Preakness Stakes. Definitely check that out. Touched on it last week real quick here. Bill Simmons is reporting NBA on NBC is happening. So definitely that's what's going down as well. He is now reporting that what is going on. That means TNT is no longer going to have the rights. I definitely looked that up. 1984 was the year. I couldn't even remember. And that's Turner Broadcasting. TBS had the games exclusively in the 80s before TNT existed. I think TNT, that was 89, I think that was. And they've had the rights in some form ever since then as well. So they've had the rights for some form. So next year will be the last year. Interesting. Everybody's asking to see what happens to the inside of the NBA. I think that's the best studio show in any sport as well. NBC, I can almost guarantee you they will be bidding, lining up for those guys. Amazon, all three networks would love to have those guys as well for that. So interesting to see as well. See who gets the number one job. I think it's going to be probably doing the announcing for them. My guess is it could be the Kevin Harlan, two more TNT guys, Kevin Harlan, Reggie Miller, who've actually been together working a long time as an announcing team. Also, too, I think Mike Tirico, Doug Collins has done a lot of the Olympics for them, even though it's getting older, was there before the last time I had it. Interested to see what happens now that that's official. Let's get to baseball here and shift. And let's take a look at what's going on as far as possible awards here early in the season. Now, not mid-season. We finished we're in mid-May. Season started end of March. Let's see where we are right now as far as who possibly wins awards in the MLB. Who could be there to win awards in the MLB. So this is just a very early look, okay? I understand we got a long way to go. We got a long season here, but just wanted to take a look in the American and National Leagues. Who could be winning the awards? Who's off to a good start here? Most valuable player. Hate to say the Yankees. Hate to ever say the Yankees. Let's go. Matter of fact, let's not even start that. I don't even like saying it. So let's start there. Kyle Tucker. I think, with the Astros. Kyle Tucker, I think, has been one of the most underrated, non-talked about players in all of baseball. Kyle Tucker, since his rookie year with the Astros, has been fantastic. The stats are really there. One of the league leaders in home runs, RBIs as well. The bad news for him, he's on a bad team. In the Astros. The Astros, for whatever reason, have been lousy so far this year. They've DFA'd Abreu, whatever, but they have had the good play of Kyle Tucker. Gunnar Henderson, of course, he needs no introduction. I think he's right there in the MVP conversation here in the first month and change. He has cooled a little bit lately. So we're going to talk about Gunnar a little bit. But Gunnar, I think, his defense, I think, has improved too, from what I've seen. I think I still think he's better at third. Defenses have improved. Definitely, he's going to be the long-term guy at shortstop. I think the next 5-6 years, he's going to be the guy at shortstop. And I definitely think he's going to go ahead and right in the MVP race in the star, although he has cooled a little bit in the last 2 weeks or so. Juan Soto, he's carried the Yankees. The Yankees, I think, is one of the, I said last week, they're one of the 5 best teams in the MLB, and I think it's because of the play of Juan Soto. Judge lately has been stepping it up and carrying off after a bit of a slow start, but Soto has been terrific all season. He has had tape measure home runs, I mean, some of the home runs I've seen from Soto, not just out the yard. I mean, it had been candy yards. These are Utah Street type stuff. So Soto with the Yankees has absolutely worked. He's been terrific here so far as well. So I think he is definitely one of the favorites for MVP. Uh, the Astros again. So Ronald Blanco for the Astros as well. So definitely the they have two players in this category considering how bad they've been. That tells you how much help they're not getting in other areas. Their pitching has been bad. Otherwise, they've had a lot of injuries as well, but this guy hasn't really lost any games for him. He's been really good. So I don't have him at Cy Young here yet so far, but he's definitely in the running as far as that goes here at the start. Hopefully, the Astros, you're thinking about, okay, the cavalry is coming at some point for them. Seth Lugo has been really good. There's two guys on the Royals that have been really good, Bobby Witt and Seth Lugo. So their pitching wasn't expected to be great, but they acquired him in the offseason, and he's been really good for them. Won a lot of games as well. ERA under 2 last time I looked at it. So he's been fantastic for them. But Tarek Subal is on another planet. I think the Tigers' turnaround, I think, is a lot because that young pitching, that young hitting, it's coming. Seen it for last year. That farm system now is starting to graduate, and this is the remnants. I think he has been absolutely the best pitcher in the American League here at the start. Best rookie. Interesting. A lot of trade talks. Mason Miller. Mason Miller has won the A's closing job. By the way, A's haven't been bad. I mean, well, they're under 500 for A's standards at least. But they definitely have a guy here who can finish games for you. So a lot of trade talk, of course, because they don't keep anybody. For them, I don't think that's going to happen, but he's definitely one of the league leaders in the AL in saves. So definitely rookie of the year. Early start, that's a good way to get it. Wilmer Abreu for the Red Sox, huge surprise. Can he maintain a whole season the way he's done it? But he's definitely been a huge surprise for them. Probably him and Devers have been their best players on that lineup here so far. Red Sox still have a little bit of time left to go ahead and get it together, but this has been a huge surprise. Colton, I know he's cool. That April was sensational. I mean, this is a big surprise. Colton, again, was fantastic. I mean, in April, that was one of the best rookie. Like, usually guys this young struggle a little bit in the beginning as well. Last year, and this was the thing last year with him I saw. I've always liked Colton Cowser in the minor leagues, etc., but he was in, out a lot. He actually got a chance to play, and he played well. So definitely good job by Colton Cowser as well. Austin Hayes' injury, he's taking advantage of it. He's going to stay in. I don't think Hayes is going to be anything but a reserve when he gets back. If that hasn't already happened, he didn't play again today. We'll go into that Orioles report when we get there. MVP, National League. Interesting. Ellie De La Cruz, I think, is a fascinating player. I love baseball for stolen bases. And this guy steals a lot of bases. He's leading the league in stolen bases. He's carrying the Reds in every offensive category. Kind of like what we saw with the Astros. Like, the rest of those guys in this lineup aren't really helping him at all. So I think that's hurting him in the MVP voting as well. But he's been terrific as far as his RBIs, his steals. His average has been really good, hitting about 280-ish right there. Very productive all season, despite the lack of offensive help. So very impressed with El De La Cruz. Definitely playing a premium position. Don't know if he's going to keep that up all year, but definitely here early, worth mentioning in the MVP conversation. I think it's definitely these two guys is going to come down to it. Mookie Betts, I'm really rooting for Mookie Betts in some ways because he's kind of been the bridesmaid here several years. Playing at shortstop for the first time in his career that I remember. Most of the time, all those years in the Red Sox with outfield as well, they were going to play him at second. The guy wasn't working out at short. At second, hey, Mookie, at the end of camp, let's play you at short. Mookie Betts is terrific. And we're talking about defense. On offense, I think he's gotten better and better. I think like he's almost kind of slept on, even as great as he's been does everything well at the top of the league in a lot of these categories. Ohtani, believe it or not, almost got off to a bit of a slow start the first week or two, and he's been blowing the doors off ever since then. Especially with all he's going through. He's got his former friend, got it like that, going to jail, doing 30 years. And Ohtani has been terrific. Having him as a DH is going to work against him because I don't think he's going to play outfield at all this season. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes as well. But that's the way I would rank it here at the start. Interesting. This is very interesting here as well. So Shota Umanga for the Cubs. He hasn't lost a game all season yet, right? at least not unless he lost it today when I wasn't looking. But he's been fantastic for them. So even with all the Cubs injuries they've had, Justin Steele and things like that, not interesting. The Cubbies are still right there. He's been terrific as well. This rookie, he's a rookie too. He's just got in the league. So it's interesting to see how he continues to go. Tyler Glasnow, no surprise here. Definitely, this is why the Dodgers paid so much money for him as well. The Dodgers didn't have the pitching for so long. They had Clayton Kershaw and everything like that. You got Glasnow, you got Bobby Miller, you got Kershaw now. You still got there's a lot of good there. So definitely, and he has been fantastic here at the start. It's fun to see it in almost a way because now he's got offense to go with it. For years he was in Tampa, he had to be perfect every night. With all this offense, he doesn't have to do that. Ranger Suarez, that's right, not with the Phillies, not Nola. The other names escape me all of a sudden. The other names escape me. Zach Wheeler. So not Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler. Ranger Suarez has been the best. Stats are unbelievable. Microscopic ERA that he has as well. So Suarez here, the best one, first one. Last one here. Just talked about it with the Cubs. What's wrong? Missing these guys. Michael Busch has been a good start for them as well. Playing a lot of first base as a rookie. Definitely he's been very well for them. Definitely they needed it considering all the injuries that they've had. Interesting, we've got it here. Yamamoto and Umanga. Just talked about him as one of the best pitchers in the National League. Anyway, here's the thing with pitchers from Japan a lot of times. I've seen this a couple times. The first one I saw was Hideo Nomo. These guys are really good, but here's an extra advantage they have with Hideo Nomo. Yu Darvish, kind of the same thing. What's the advantage they have? They're really good. They're major league level, especially if they're good in Japan, which is probably the best place to pitch. If it's not better than the major leagues, but Japan baseball, definitely the best place in the world as far as not in the major leagues. The thing is with players from Asia, nobody sees them, right? So they have good first halves when they get over here because there's no book on them, right? You're trying to just trying to figure it out. You don't really know. So at least the first half of the season, you're seeing with these two guys, they're really struggling as well. Yamamoto, I think, for years and years is going to be good. Umanga's like 30 already, even though he's a rookie. So definitely, but I'll put him at Yamamoto. He's been terrific here at the start. All right. There you go. All right. So that's what it looks here. Not quite at the midseason here, but here early as well. We'll see how that goes as well. It's a long season, 162 games. But these guys have had a great start. They're worthy of being mentioned here at the beginning as far as getting MVP early, folks. Orioles report. So let's take a look at the Orioles report this week. You missed it. You missed that homework. Definitely check out those highlights already if you haven't seen it already. I'm sure a lot of you have already had. But Adley, man, was outstanding. 1, 2, or 3 games against the Diamondbacks. The streak has continued. I call it the Adley streak. They have not been swept since we've had Adley Rushman on the team. In the 9th, definitely looked like it. Had the rain out. Lost the one game. Had the rain out. Down in the 9th. and Adley sends everybody home. That looked like a homer. It was controversial, I will say. That's about as low as it gets there. But if it's at the top of the wall like that, that's a home run. So and some people don't like it. It kind of gets confusing, like with that second gate there as well. But if it's the top of that fence, it's a home run, and it did. So they weren't happy with it, but that's a home run. So I definitely believe that. So there's some confusion there as well. But you have that, that top of that padding there is the home run. If the ball bounces up off of that, that's a homer. Sometimes they have another gate there to keep fans out or whatever. That doesn't count. If it hits that, that's a homer. That's what happened. So they won 2 out of 3 against the Blue Jays as well. Typical Oriole business as well. The infield is doing very well. Who's hot? Westberg. He's doing so well. He was hitting in the first spot today. Gunnar was moved down. Gunner's cooled a little bit. Westy has been terrific. Terrific on both sides. I think he's been very good at third base as well. So fantastic start for him. Cole Irvin is not coming out of this rotation. I don't know what they're going to do with Grayson. I think Grayson, from what I hear, Grayson's not going to be back right away, but Cole Irvin is not coming out. Cole Irvin can't come out. He's leading the team in wins. He's got 4 wins, so he's been terrific. Jacob Webb, shout him out. He's been good for a while, definitely. You know what it seems like? Doesn't seem to use him as much in high leverage situations as I think his stats say he should, but he's been really good for a while. So definitely you like Jacob Webb, what we've seen from him lately. Craig Kimbrell, not hot. A lot of trade talk as far as bringing another closer in. I don't know where Hyde is with him. I don't think Hyde is there yet. I think he's definitely going to maybe pull him back a bit. I do believe in the last game, on the Monday game, I believe we probably would have saw Kimbrell tonight. But they got to Cano, and that kind of never happened. So I think that was interesting to see where he is on that. Definitely on the not list, you got pulled from close, but I think there's a bit of a pullback from him right now. So definitely got to put him in the not category. Cedric, a lot of people are worried about Cedric. The offensive production just isn't there for him. Brandon Hyde, I will say this. Rookies and young players, he's a lot less patient. Veterans guys, been 5-6 years, he seems to be showing some with Cedric. Cedric defensively, you never know anything's wrong, but he's not hitting. So interesting to see. Kerstad, so much he got sent down. That's probably the right thing. He wasn't playing for him. And this is kind of the thing. And I'm a deep dive into that a little bit more, but maybe not. But you got to do something with these guys, man. Like you're holding all these prospects up, down. Like it's not necessary. I mean, Kerstad really didn't even get a shot. Outfield as a whole needs to give you more. The infield is producing. O'Hearn, Mountcastle, Gunnar, Westy, Mateo's playing his part. Except outfield has got to start giving you something, man, because they've really been struggling. Or as we call it, young hitter Kyle Stowers from AAA Norfolk announced to the team Monday he'll be taking the rest of the spot with Heston Kerstad, who's been optioned to AAA. Not a surprise here. I don't know what you do with Stowers. Do what exactly? I mean, Stowers is you kind of got the same. They kind of got the same problem. I think maybe will he be happy with playing less? I don't know. I think that's probably what he's thinking there as well. Plans for Brandon Hyde said of plans. This is per Matt Wouch. That no plans. His plans for Ken Kimbrell are day to day. Used him in the 7th tonight for struggling closer. The struggling closer give a different look. I don't think he knows what to do with Kimbrell. I don't think he's ready to quit yet. I think he's going to stay in there. I think Kimbrell is going to get another shot to close. But right now he's just less effective. So he's doing something. He blew, I think it was 3 out of 4 saves. He almost blew another one, but he was taken out. So yeah, they're doing something, but I don't think they're quite ready to get up. He did look better, I think, in his last 2 appearances, Kimbrell. Orioles announced Monday they've designated Ryan McKenna for assignment, and that roster spot will go to veteran Austin Hayes. So it's good to see Hayes back. So hopefully we can get him back to the production that he has last year, all-star level production last year. I kind of, I'll be honest with you, I thought McKenna was pretty good this time around. I thought McKenna was pretty good. All the jokes that he gets, etc. But I thought he was pretty good this time around. For his sake, I hope he finds another team. He doesn't take the assignment in Norfolk. I hope another team picks him up. It's obviously there's not a lot of interest in him for whatever reason. But I hope another team picks him up. He looks like a major league player to me. I mean, that's what I'm seeing when I see him. O's Blue Jays game was rained out May 14th, which was on Tuesday. Be made up July 29th as part of a double header. So definitely check that out as well. This week, Mariners on the road at home against the Seattle Mariners. So definitely check that out there as well. Mariners haven't been great here early. They're kind of scuffling. Cardinals have been really bad, really bad here at the start. So interesting to see what happens with the Cardinals and Mariners. Player of the week, no question. Adley. I had that even before the home run today, and he just cemented it. So consistent. Love it. Absolutely love it. Adding the power now to 9th home run today in the game. It was fantastic. So definitely shout out to Adley. I think my favorite player on the Baltimore Orioles. All right. Thank you very much for joining us for the Rivalry Sports podcast. So we had a lot today. Schedule release, Preakness this week. Definitely check us out. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content. Thank you for joining us, and you